Hello World History, this is day 22, this is 22b. So our sixth note about classical Greece is that governments issued currencies, engaged in diplomacy, built supply lines, fortifications, and defensive walls, and as we've talked about, repaired extensive roads. The Roman roads stretched all the way to Britain in the west, and in the east as far as Turkey, past Constantinople. Number 7 is that governments often relied on new groups of military officers and soldiers from their own populations and peoples that they would conquer. These are characteristics of empires. Number 8, imperial cities served as centers of trade. The capital city, if you will, Rome was the imperial city, Athens was an imperial city. You'd have public performances and plays, religious rituals. The Olympic Games were originally religious rituals, political administration. So if you had political office, you would have to report to that capital occasionally. And then you would serve as a governor in maybe an outlying province. Pontius Pilate of the Roman age of empire would sometimes go to Rome to report to the emperor, but would mainly stay in Judea, where he was governor. Note number 9. Imperial social structures displayed hierarchies, like we saw in ancient Mesopotamia and India. In that hierarchy were farmers, laborers, slaves, artisans, merchants. Number 10, empires used various methods to maintain food production. They would use slavery and corvée labor, which was you could have a certain term of labor to pay off your taxes, or instead of taxes. Note number 11, imperial societies provided rewards for the loyalty of the elites. And commoners would have to pay for this lavish lifestyle that the elites enjoyed. This famous painting shows at the center Plato and Aristotle, Plato being the teacher of Aristotle. We're going to talk about them as we talk about classical Greece. The 12th aspect of empire is that the patriarchy continued to shape gender and family relations in all of the imperial societies of the classical age. The 13th note is that empires did face political, cultural, economic, environmental, and administrative difficulties that would then lead to the decline and or collapse. So as we study these different empires, we're going to look at what caused their demise, what caused their downfall. Note number 14, governments generated social tensions and economic difficulties by concentrating too much power and wealth in hands of the elites. This often caused the society to crumble because there was too much inequality and unhappiness amongst the people who worked to make the empire happen, to make the empire possible. Note number 15, sometimes there were invasions from outside groups. You know that Rome fell for many reasons. Many of them were internal, but some were external invasions by Huns and other groups. The threat of invasion was a constant worry for the large land empires because it wasn't possible to guard all of your borders. They were too vast. Now we're going to talk about the Persian Empire for a little bit, Roman numeral 2. And first we're going to talk about the Achaemenid Empire. So here is a map of all of the city-states that were major players in the Achaemenid Empire, and you can see from having all of these locations around for a rich Persian Empire. Note number 1 is that in 550 BC, the Achaemenid dynasty began by Cyrus the Great, was the first Persian Empire to dominate Western Asia. Western Asia today is sometimes called the Middle East, so you could call it Southwestern Asia or you could call it the Middle East, and Cyrus the Great. And he's mentioned in the Old Testament numerous times as well. So this map, I think, is quite telling, even more so than the other one that showed the bodies of water. These are the administrative divisions of the Achaemenid Empire. So this is how the empire was governed. You'd have different governors of Parthia, the Medes,